For the town of Teresópolis, just north of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, the equivalent of 1 month of rain fell in one day, bringing terrible devastation. Childhood friends Luciano Zimbrau and Marcelo Fonseca have no idea what Mother Nature has in store for them.
It was a storm of gigantic proportions, and I could see the beginning of the problems. They started at the city center, where the two main roads started to flood.
I remember that I went to bed early because I was very tired, and I woke up about 3:20 in the morning with the noise of a dog scratching the door. I got up and turned on the lights, but there was no electricity. I tried the switch, and nothing. The dog came in and threw mud everywhere, and I thought, that's weird. There's water there. But then in the afternoon, I remembered that it had rained heavily.
Marcelo decides to go back to sleep, blissfully unaware that the heavy rainfall is about to cause a cataclysmic chain reaction.
Those mudslides, they can happen really quickly when you get those heavy, heavy downpours pouring on top of areas and soil and different sort of terrain that just can't handle that amount of rain. So once it gets going down that hillside, it's this unstoppable force.
The next thing Marcelo remembers is waking up in pitch darkness, unable to move a muscle. He soon realizes that not only is he trapped, he's been buried alive.
When I was buried alive, the first moments were of anguish and loneliness and despair. That's the word.
The huge mudslide has completely destroyed the area, burying Marcelo under his sister's house.
Unfortunately, because there are communities of people that live in the mountains, these structures aren't built to sustain the amount of water and the conditions here. So when you add in a really anomalous rainfall event, these structures really cannot handle this type of situation. So unfortunately, that just added to the impacts of the events because many people were affected.
Rescuers frantically trying to reach Marcelo under 13 feet of mud and debris. Meanwhile, the rest of the town immediately pulls together to help. Remarkably, Marcelo's old friend, Luciano, is recording the rescue efforts as they unfold, with no idea who they are trying to save.
It was difficult creating that raw footage with my emotions involved.
I was buried, and the only thing I was feeling was a lot of pain in my leg, my left leg. I was breathing very fast, and it was as if I could hear a voice that was telling me to breathe slower. And at that moment, I was able to breathe much slower, and I felt as if the Lord was speaking to me, and I calmed down and had the serenity to wait to be rescued at that moment. I had no idea how long I had been there. I knew it was a long time, but I can't tell you exactly how long I was in there.
Miraculously, Marcelo survived for more than 16 hours trapped deep under the rubble.
I remember that when they took me out of the hole, the first thing I said was, "Glory is to God." I heard people praising the Lord and people whistling. People were calling me a warrior. That's what I remember. I only realized it was my childhood friend when I saw his mom and sister desperate and crying.
Against all odds, Marcelo has survived the terrible ordeal, and the childhood friends are finally reunited in the hospital, where Marcelo is making an astounding recovery. The catastrophic floods and landslides in January 2011 resulted in 900 fatalities, leaving 14,000 homeless, making it one of the worst weather-related disasters in Brazilian history.